Hello guys, welcome to Talk Wrestling here on the premier website in the world for wrestling news, NoDQ.com. Before I do anything, I gotta say this. Aaron, happy 11-year anniversary this Sunday. So November 8th, this Sunday, check out NoDQ.com for exclusive features. You see features every day on NoDQ.com, but this stuff's gonna be special. You're gonna see some old clips, you're gonna see some highlights from stuff. It's good times. Anyway. 10 questions again, a DVD review, and this week, instead of a VRQ, a book review. Stay tuned. Let's get right to it. This is from Dan from Indiana. Who will be the next Diva inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame? I gotta go with Trish Stratus. If not Lita, but I think Trish will be the one. Sunny's also a good candidate. She might be up there too. Sable probably won't be because of her association with Brock, her marriage to Brock, and the fact that Brock's with UFC. Probably won't be able to get her. But I would say either Trish or Sunny will be one of those two that'll be next in line as a Diva induction in the Hall of Fame. Alright, this one comes from Grant Hammer. Have you heard anything about the Naturals? Last time I saw them wrestle was the 3-on-1 squash match versus Big Show on SmackDown. Haven't heard anything since. Personally, I like the Naturals in TNA, and I like their feud with AMW in 2003 through 2004. I also wouldn't mind seeing them going back to TNA to freshen up their boring tag team division, but that's just me. What do you think of them returning to TNA? Well, they did do that tape match, teaming with Luke Hawx from XPW and WSX against the Big Show back in March of 2008, and then Chase Stevens wrestled Jack Swagger again on ECW on September 16th, and then Mike Knox on the 23rd of September, and then Swagger beat Chase up, and then Tommy Dreamer ran in and saved him. That's the last I've heard of them also. I haven't heard anything since then. As far as I know, they are still wrestling on the independent circuit, but that's just what I've heard. I don't know. I'd like to see the Naturals back in TNA personally. I liked them. I liked their pairing with Chris Candido when they won the World Tag Team titles back in 2005 before Chris passed away that same week, actually. Great team, great individual efforts on both their parts to rise up in the independent circuit and then later in TNA. Great tag team effort on both their parts. I hope they come back to TNA. I hope they revitalize the tag team division, which is kind of boring, except for the British Invasion. And the Mafia is kind of, just like I said last week, kind of dissipated. So I hope they come back. I hope they do. DJ says, what are your top 5 Shawn Michaels Wrestlemania matches? And he picks Undertaker, Ric Flair, Kurt Angle, Jericho, and the Triple Threat match I mentioned on the DVD review with Triple H and Chris Benoit. You know, those 5 are very, very good. But you can't leave out a Shawn Michaels WrestleMania pick without Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart from WrestleMania 12. How about WrestleMania 10 versus Razor Ramon, the infamous ladder match? You know, how about the match he carried Kevin Nash to at WrestleMania 11 for the WWF Championship? Shawn Michaels has not, to my knowledge, had a bad WrestleMania match, except the one he had to force himself through at WrestleMania 14 in 1998 against Stone Cold Steve Austin when he dropped the title to Austin. That match, you could see the pain in his eyes. You could see it etched into his face. As far as singles matches with Shawn Michaels, not one bad one, except the one he had to carry himself through. This is from the Enigma, Iggy Rock. When do you think WWE will release the Best of the Cruiserweight Championship DVD, like they've done with WWE Title Intercontinental Championship? Well, if it's in the order of the pecking order, you're probably going to see the Best of the Tag Team Championship first. Although, they've already done that with the Best of the Tag Teams, so I guess I don't have to do Tag Team Championship DVD or not. But there's a lot of titles to go through. The United States Championship, the Women's Championship, and the Cruiserweight Championship's in there too. I'd like to see that, because the Cruiserweights usually have the best matches on the program throughout the course of the Cruiserweight Championship history. I'd like to see that personally, but I don't know if it's going to happen because the Cruiserweight title was so devalued in the end, and WWE really doesn't care about the Cruiserweights as much as far as the division, the championship. So I don't know if they'll care enough to release a DVD about it. Alright, this week's DVD review request came from Roger Payne. Thank you, Roger. I'm going to turn some heads here. Dun, dun, dun.
No, Jeff.
I know, Aaron. I'm sorry. I
He's not in the shot, so that's good.
It's not in the shot?
No!
There it is. There it is. Uh-oh. There, wait. There. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Ah!
No!
I'm kidding. I love Chris Benoit, and I'm sorry, but I wanted to review this DVD. I've only watched it a couple times since I bought it, back when it first came out in 2004. But it's good. I like the bio. I like the matches are great on this DVD. Phenomenal matches that they picked. The match Pegasus Kid against Jushin Liger from 1990 was great. The match at Super All Tuco with Scorpio is great. All these matches are just freaking-nominal. You know, the match, the Owen Hart tribute match with Bret Hart, the World Heavyweight Championship match from WrestleMania 20, Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit from Nitro in '95, the Kevin Sullivan feud, the Best of 7 finals against Booker in WCW, not WWE, and of course they even have his WCW Championship match against Sid Vicious from Sold Out 2000. And another great match that Regal really proved himself against Chris Benoit was at the Brian Pillman Tribute Show in May of 2000. And that steel cage match against Kurt Angle from June 2001 where Benoit did the top rope, top of the cage, excuse me, dive, headbutt was just awesome. Great matches, great DVD bio. I like the extras on here too. If you are a Chris Benoit fan, like I know there are many of you out there still, I know that WWE has tried to bury him, but even Vince McMahon in the History of WWE magazine said himself, it is not right to push him aside and cast aside his contributions to the business. Yes, it is not okay to promote him, and I'm not trying to promote him, but I will say if you can get your hands on a copy of this DVD, then borrow it from a friend, buy it on eBay, do something, and watch this DVD because it is tremendously well produced, and I highly recommend it. And if you're a Benoit fan like I am, don't let his last few days cloud the rest of his career, the rest of his life. This is from Adam Felicity. If the Rob Black scandal never went down, do you think XPW could have set their differences aside with ECW, and Rob and Paulie could have made a joint effort to dominate the indie scene by creating a worked East Coast, West Coast war? I know they legitimately thought that the other was not worth mentioning, but I, as a fan, love the feeling that it was my town versus their town atmosphere. Thanks for reading. Pardon me. Allergies killing me. Cold's killing me still. Kicking my butt. I would have liked to see an ECW versus XPW feud, personally, myself, because I was a fan of both. But, again, I said this either last week or the week before, hindsight is very much 20/20. If this hadn't happened, then this could have happened. If this hadn't happened, then this. XPW, the way it was run, was not in the best of ways. And what I mean is, they were run as a subsidiary of a adult film company, and they allowed themselves to have the worst happen. That's get shut down. And I think that if they would have seen a ECW XPW war, then that would have brought ECW down a notch or two compared to how they had grown by the time the XPW ECW feud really heated up in 2000. So I think that would have done nothing but bring ECW down. I don't think it would have worked, and I think it wouldn't have benefited either company. XPW would have been seen as the lesser of the two evils, if you will, and ECW would have just been dragged out by a company they ended up doing business with. This is from Michael Fairgrieve. We all know Hulkamania was the driving force behind what propelled the wrestling business into the mainstream. My question to you is this. If Hulkamania never happened, when do you think wrestling would have gone mainstream? And do you think they would have used someone in particular to build up as big as Hulk Hogan was? If so, then who? I don't think it would have happened. And I think that's going to cause a lot of people to react toward me on the YouTube comment board. But without Vince McMahon driving the ship, and without Hulk Hogan, without Vince steering the ship, and without Hulk Hogan pulling the truck behind him, I don't think it would happen. It happened at the exact right place at the exact right time with the two right people, Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan. I don't think wrestling would be as mainstream as it is today without those two guys. I firmly and completely stand behind that opinion. Without Hulk Hogan, wrestling wouldn't be mainstream. This is from Jay Garcia. How do you feel about the former WWE pay-per-view Taboo Tuesday and Cyber Sunday? And what do you think about WWE replacing the pay-per-view? Well, this is kind of dated, and I apologize for a dated question. I know you guys don't like that very much. But I'm going to talk about it. Taboo Tuesday and Cyber Sunday was cool for what it was. But let's be honest. Do you really think that if WWE wanted to book a cage match between, let's say, Ric Flair and Randy Orton, that they wouldn't have tweaked the votes enough to make it happen? Do you think that really Shelton Benjamin wasn't the one they wanted to challenge Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental Championship that first year? Because he won. Do you really think that, you know, all these votes weren't manipulated in some way or another? Yes, Taboo Tuesday seemed cool on the surface. Yes, Taboo Tuesday, Cyber Sunday seemed like, wow, the fans get to vote. Fans got to place their vote. But in the end, it was WWE Creative that chose the stipulations for those matches and chose participants in those matches. So I think replacing it with whatever it was that replaced either bragging rights or the one before that was the way to go. Have a Raw versus SmackDown. Although, somebody brought this up to me. I didn't put this on my question list, but I do want to talk about this. Bragging rights pretty much use the same format as Survivor Series for one of the main matches. A elimination match. Although, oh no wait, was elimination match a bragging rights? It was not. Okay. Well, they still had a Raw versus SmackDown, you know, tag team match. A multiple participant tag team match, which is what Survivor Series is for. So why did they feel to do that? I don't know. This is from Conor McGregor. Do you think anyone in the NWA will overthrow Blue Demon Jr. to become the World Heavyweight Champion? At first I enjoyed his reign, but now it is becoming boring and ruining the company. What can the NWA do to get back into the spotlight? Well, now that I'm away from the evil empire that is Epic War, I can talk about this. The NWA is doing all the right things. They are getting all the right promotions behind them. They're building up this huge business of different people. And they're doing the right things. They have to get a television deal. They have to get a mainstream television deal, much like Ring of Honor has to break away from HDNet and get a mainstream television deal if they're going to do anything. NWA is not doing the right booking. They don't have the right champion. I don't think Blue Demon Jr. is the right guy to carry the NWA as World Heavyweight Champion. I don't think it's a good idea for him to be champion. They need to put the belt back on Adam Pearce or a Brent Albright, or somebody else from Ring of Honor, or somebody from one of the other companies. It's just not going to happen without the belt changing hands. You're right. Blue Demon Jr. was a great, oh my God, the first ever Mexican, the first ever mass champion. But the novelty's worn off. They need to have it. He's been champion a year. They need to let it go. Alright, this week's book review. I forget who requested this, and I'm sorry I didn't write your name down, but I did want to review this book because I thoroughly enjoyed it, cover to cover. I bought it when it came out, and I liked it, and it was really cool that he got to do it outside of the realm of WWE, and it was very well written. It's Chris Jericho's book, Around the World, A Lion's Tale Around the World in Spandex. Very well done. I believe. No, okay, yeah, he did have a ghostwriter with it, Peter Thomas Fornatelli, whatever his name is. It doesn't matter what his name is. It's Chris Jericho's book. Anyway, very well researched, very well written. I like that Jericho covered just part of his career. He didn't do his whole career. He only did from the time he started and his life before that up until the moment he entered WWE, the WWF back then for the very first time in August of 1999. I like that he kept the reader wanting more at the end, and I'm sure he'll have part 2, his WWF career, maybe within the realm of WWE books. That'd be awesome. That would be cool. I know a lot of you guys, talk about, well, we do the book reviews for. We don't really, we prefer the DVD review. Well, I'm going to do a DVD review today too. Don't worry. But I like this book. Chris Jericho is a great historical figure in wrestling, and I think that if you sit down and take the time to actually read this, you'll enjoy it. So, Chris Jericho, Alliance Tailored Around the World in Spandex. Go buy it at your bookstore. I believe it's a paperback now, which will make it cheaper for you guys. So, go buy it. This one is from Mike Moore. Which of the following is your favorite Austin Rock match? WrestleMania 15, Backlash 99, WrestleMania 17, or WrestleMania 19? Now, you can't leave out DX pay-per-view, In Your House DX from December 97. That was another Rock Austin match. My favorite was WrestleMania 17. That was the greatest WrestleMania I ever saw. I firmly believe that, and that was the greatest main event of all time. This one comes from Keith. Who are your favorite heels of all time? My favorite all-time heel is Ric Flair. I grew up watching Flair in the NWA when he was the man that everybody wanted to hate. I hated that he never seemed to lose the title based on the rest of the Four Horsemen getting involved with his matches. Then when Flair turned into a face role in WWE when he was the GM, the whole thing just did not seem like the right character. There are several others that I hate seeing as face roles because their heel roles are so great. Christian Cage is a fantastic heel, yet the WWE does not use him that way. The Dudley Boys, Team 3D, good job, are fantastic heels. Yes, they are. Yet, what does it say? Yet they seem to be faces for TNA to give them titles. I do not want to see Kurt Angle ever be a face again as he ranks up there with Flair on my all-time list Ultimate Heel. Well, Kurt Angle is a baby face again. They've changed that now. I do like the Dudleys, Team 3D, much better as heels. They can incite a crowd like no other heel tag team I've ever seen. Ever in my entire nearly 20 years of watching this business. The Dudley Boys are the most over heel tag team I've ever seen. Ever. Flair is one of the greatest heels of all time. And if he's on this Hulkamania tour still, when they do it in Australia, if they have him play the role of heel, it'll be great to see Hogan and Flair as babyface and heel one more time before they both hang it up for good. You mentioned Christian Cage. Christian is good as both, but I think he's better as a heel. I have to agree with you there, Keith. Randy Orton, tremendous heel these days. CM Punk, great heel these days. Batista is a good heel. Undertaker was a tremendous heel when he was with the Ministry of Darkness, but we all love him as a babyface for us. So that's just the way it is. William Regal, great heel. In TNA, Kurt Angle, again, they've made him a babyface, big mistake. Eric Young and the World Elite, great heels. On the indie circuit, Joey Ryan is a great heel, tremendous heel. Nigel, before he joined TNA, was a good heel. He's probably going to be a good heel now. He's doing really well so far as Desmond Wolfe. The Briscoe brothers are good heels. TNA, PWG. Human Tornado is a good heel, but they're kind of going back and forth with him. Eddie Kingston. Austin Aries. There's so many. Alright, that's going to do it for Talk Wrestling this week. Again, thank you all to the 10,000 plus subscribers. Next week, we're going to talk about the upcoming event known as Pro Wrestling Guerrilla's Battle of Los Angeles. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to answer more of your questions. Probably have more book reviews, because the VRQs that are coming in are not so good. But hopefully you guys will send in better VRQs. For now, this is Jeff Meacham, and we'll see you next time on Talk Wrestling.